No, Gil, it wasn't you. I kind of messed up on that. I hit the wrong date, and then my camera wouldn't act, or my audio and everything wouldn't come on, so I had to restart my computer. But anyways, people, that's why the time and date kept switching. How's everybody doing out there? I just got back from visiting family on vacation, so I didn't have time to do a whole lot of research, write things down that I was going to talk about. So it's a pretty standard podcast for me where I just basically talk about things in the news. I hope everybody had a wonderful New Year's evening. I had a great one right up until the Gremlins came out about 20 to 2 in the morning, and everybody started arguing in the bar, and I had to run out there because I'm not letting that poison into my life. But anyways, start off with a few things. We had Maduro captured in Venezuela. I don't know. I'll let it play. Maduro's a communist. I don't really give that much of a shit about him. Country's starving. It has a bunch of oil. It is what it is. You got a bunch of Democrats, or I shouldn't say Democrats, but you got a bunch of progressives out there kind of upset that Big Daddy T went ahead and captured that dictator. It's amazing. Seems like, all they do is support like the worst communist dictators. I mean, all communism really is totalitarianism with a religious bent when you break it down. But, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. The only thing I don't want to see, like a moratorium on it, is like an extended quagmire of an invasion. Anyways, I got a question down here. I don't know. I've seen some stuff on Sneeko. Like, I think I saw him, didn't he go in and he tried to take on Sean Strickland? He's running his mouth. I'm going to be honest with you. Here's where I am with everything. I don't actually understand, outside of a few people, why anybody is famous anymore. I just don't get it. He's against what happened to Maduro. Here would be my response to Sneeko. Okay, you're against what happened to Maduro. My attitude on Maduro is screw this guy. I don't care about Nicolas Maduro. He's some dictator in a foreign country. He's a fat slob eating empanadas while his people starve. I don't give a shit what happens to this guy, and I'm not going to sit around and pretend like I do. I made a New Year's resolution this year, okay? I'm done with all the political correctness. I don't care. I'm going to make whatever jokes or say whatever I want, and if you don't like it, you got two decisions on it, right? You could stop listening to me or whatever, The thing is, I don't understand how we got to a world where some moron has a bunch of subs on YouTube, and this is somehow lends credibility to this individual. Like, I didn't understand it with Meat Kevin. I don't understand the financial scene anymore. Well, I never did. But I understand how it got there. People started getting a certain level of they got to a certain sub count, right? This is what I believe happened. I don't know. I can't prove it. If you look at the whole YouTube financial or the financial YouTube space, right? This is what I believed happened. Somebody got a little bit of momentum. Graham, Stefan, Jeremy, all these guys, okay? Then it's like anything. How do you get co-opted when you're in Hollywood? You get to a certain level of fame, you get the phone call, right? Like George Clooney writing articles about Joe Biden. You have to step back and go, okay, why? Right? Well, here's what happens, I think, with YouTubers. Get to 100,000 or so subs. The creator agency, which is bankrupt now, not surprisingly, comes to you, they sign a deal with you, and they pay YouTube. Here's what I'm saying to you. Like the Daily Wire, we're going to go over this. I can't prove it, but I believe the Daily Wire bought a lot of its attention because they took money from Israel. You see, something has never made sense to me about a lot of where these people came from on YouTube. Why? Right? Like, YouTube is turned into, oh, Ben Stiller said this. Just a bunch of attention whores vying for your eyes and your attention. But again, I don't know why any of these people are famous. Most of them aren't intelligent. Like, how many YouTubers out there do you find intelligent? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, there's this guy Moon on here. I watch a lot of his videos and I like them. Why? Because they're scripted, they're well written. But if you look at a lot of the other YouTubers, Sneeko, I don't know why this guy is famous. I really don't. Sneeko. Okay. I mean, I watch some Asmongold. I like that guy's takes on a lot of things. But overall, I just really don't get it. I don't get why people want to watch certain videos. They don't want to watch other ones. And to be perfectly honest with you, I don't really care to find out. I'd rather have my small shit YouTube channel that nobody watches where I can interact with people in the comments versus, some large channel where YouTube is going to shut me down if I question the small hats. If I were to say, rumor has it they've been kicked out of 109 countries. So at a certain point, when you've been kicked out of more than half of the parties in the world, probably want to ask a question. Is it you or is it the other people? Right? Can't say that. I don't want to be in a situation where I have 500,000 subs and then I got the Mike Baker coming on my podcast to act as my handler like Joe Rogan. And I actually like Mike Baker. I actually disagree with that guy on some stuff, but I actually find myself agreeing with him on a lot of things he says about the agency. But I will go down the rabbit hole all day about conspiracies because I love them. And a lot of them are true. Let's look at the Charlie Kirk thing for a second. One of the reasons I'm not doing the thing where every week it's a new video on Charlie Kirk is I don't understand what happened. Okay? Like at this point, I'm stepping back and I'm taking in data on it. So to really make videos about it every week is just pure speculation. I will tell you up front, I don't trust Erica Kirk, but I will say people become off when they experience a traumatic event in their life. Okay? But when I look at Erica Kirk, she's not a woman that seems honest to me. Now, maybe that's just my perception because I'm not there in front of her. But again, I don't even know why half of this stuff is happening. It's a Potemkin village that we live in. Nothing is on the up and up. And again, I go back to it. Who the fuck is Sneeko? Right? I offer up my opinion on certain things, but I'm not going to give you the midwit. I read a bunch of stuff and now I'm just regurgitating without actually understanding the words that are coming out of my mouth. Like 90% of YouTube. Again, You got some 22-year-old kid acting as a financial YouTuber. And I'm just looking at it going, why the fuck would I take this guy's advice? This dude has gotten his dick wet like 4 times. Okay? Like, I'm just not going to listen to it. Sneeko, like the Paul brothers. I don't know how the Paul brothers are famous. I don't hate them. I don't really care about them. And that's where I am with most YouTubers. I'm just like, it's some dude behind a screen offering his opinion, and then half of these people want to pretend like it's some profound revelation. It's the same, YouTube has turned into the same thing that legacy media is. That's what it is. It's all fake. And that's why I like coming on here and just talking about fucking nonsense. YouTube should be fun. And then it got corporatized, and now they just want it as this boring, homogenous site where nobody ever gets offended. And I'm just dealing with YouTubers. I don't know. That's the guy's the only cuck I see. He likes that Antifa movie. You brought it up. Yeah, right. I mean, think about the mentality you're dealing with, right? This is the mentality of the left. Whether they actually believe they're communists or not, they are. That's just the reality of it. You can see it in their mythos. One battle after another. Some, smug loser revolutionary with the cartoon bad guys, right? Every right winger is just filled with hate. And this is not my experience. The small town bar I sat at drinking water on New Year's. It's 5 guys in the bar. 3 of them are white and 2 of them are black. And then a Hispanic guy came in. All of us are just sitting at the bar, shooting the shit, talking shit. Maybe that was the night before, but whatever. Anyways, this small town little crappy redneck bar that I go to, there's people from all walks of life in it except libtards. And it's like, we're the hateful one. There's 3 white guys and 2 black guys at the bar sitting there cracking jokes with each other. There's no politics, no nothing. We're just talking about life. Okay? But yet, these raging libtards want to tell me I'm the hateful one because Obama brought in a bunch of, foreign barbarians from Somalia in 2014 so they could defraud the medical system, send that money back to the people in Somalia as a bribe so that Israel could take over what is now known as Somaliland in the Greater Israel Project. Okay, that's pretty much the way I see what happened, right? And if you do a little bit of research, my hypothesis will mostly bear out, right? But it is what it is, and then this is what informs their worldview. Why? Because Sneeko identifies with this communist shit stain Maduro, and I'm telling you, when somebody goes, "Yeah, did you see that they blew up those boats? Those were fishermen." I don't care. See, this is where I've gotten to with everything. What percentage of my day is meant to be sitting around figuring out who's lying in the media? I just go ahead and reject everything. I go, yeah, that's possible. Don't really believe the narrative. That's basically it. Was what, a year ago. Well, dude, are you surprised in any way? I think, this is what I think about YouTube. I think we all thought we were going to get authenticity out of this platform. Regular people just sharing their regular opinions, whatever. Some people would get rich, some people wouldn't. And I think we're looking for somebody to just be honest. And you're looking at YouTube and you wonder why. Sneeko was full grown MAGA a year ago. Okay. So what changed? Well, he got his views while Trump was running for president, and now he's back to being the old Sneeko. Nothing on here. Well, I shouldn't say nothing, but most things on YouTube are not actually real. It's fake. Theo Vaughn, yeah, I got a lot of questions about his origin story. And the problem with YouTube is it's a problem of frequency. Years ago, this is what, besides the DEI and all of that nonsense out in Hollywood, hey, we're going to make an inclusive film for you. Which just means it's just going to be, gay race communism throughout the entire movie. Okay? Because they don't want to offend everybody, right? So we'll throw that aside. But one of the problems celebrities are experiencing today is they tried to get on social media. They all saw Rogan, And I mean, there's a lot of complaints about Rogan lately, but I would just say Rogan has been mostly consistent in his worldview, whether you like that or not. Yeah, his podcast doesn't have the same level of weird, interesting people that he brings on. But again, I don't really think he does it for money at this point. He's a very wealthy man. But again, things change over time. But I think Rogan has been mostly authentic. This is who he is. He doesn't get jokes half the time, But what do you want? People talk about how dumb the guy is. The guy's not dumb. You just have hours and hours of footage for him to mess up with things that he says. Maybe he wasn't quite paying attention to what the guest said, so you pull a few clips. Well, that is the same thing that is destroying celebrity. Years ago, yet stars, they're far away. Look up to these people. That was part of the Potemkin village that we live in, controlling the narrative. These entertainers, they got fame and fortune, and they pushed a narrative. And they thought they could continue to do that. Obama is on record as saying he thought he could push the country more left. Why would I want to be a smug, effeminate loser like Barack Obama? Barack Obama is a corporatist that masquerades as a socialist. Right? But even Obama suffers from the same thing. Putting out these posts all day, people begin to look at you and they go, fuck this motherfucker that keeps telling me what to think. And then you begin to realize these celebrities aren't smart. Some of them are very intelligent, right? I'm not going to sit there and say that there's not 130, 140 IQs, for lack of a better measurement, in Hollywood. But again, when you see Sharon Stone out there talking about how Americans need to be re-educated, you realize these people fucking hate you. They think they're better than you. And it's destroying Hollywood, which is what's destroying YouTube. People have to post on here all the time. So you get an idea of their... You're like, all right, this dude's a dumbass. And this is what I've been saying for years. None of these people in the media are smarter and more capable than you are. You don't need them to disseminate a narrative, act as gatekeepers, regardless of what the ruling class dipshits want. But yeah, that's why he did that. He was just farming views by I'm MAGA now. I wouldn't even say I'm MAGA. Like, I hate when I have to get sucked into a group. Because here's exactly what happens every time, right? Here's what happens with every group. Every group tries to force a consensus on you. This is why. Are you MAGA? I don't know. I don't know what that means. I voted for Trump in the last election. I like Big Daddy T. Cracks me up. I had to think about it some more. Should he have said what he said about Rob Reiner? I don't know. If that's the way the guy feels, why not put it out there? So, you know what I mean? This fake virtue. You don't speak negative. You speak ill of the dead. Why? If the dude was an asshole, the dude was an asshole. Doesn't mean that I wanted him to suffer. I don't want to see. I can only imagine the terror of getting woken up in the middle of the night and the last thing you see is your son doing what he did to Rob Reiner. I can only imagine the terror. And, you know, I have sympathy for that. But if some guy had spent 10 years pushing every hoax of the media and just talking nonstop shit about me, when somebody goes, hey, what's your thought about so-and-so passing away? Fuck him. What? Fuck the dude. What? You can't say that. Let me get this straight. You just asked me what my opinion is, and now that you don't like it, you're attempting to push back on me? And that's, again, it's a consensus of every group. Jay, you said you were MAGA, and you're over here advocating for cessation of the war on drugs. Well, this isn't, in keeping with the MAGA movement. Okay. Do you want to kick me out or something? Well, no, what we really want is for you to repeat our opinions back to us. This is what I've discovered about YouTube. I will probably never make it on YouTube other than doing, again, my tiny podcast for fun on Sunday nights. It's because I'm not going to repeat the opinion that you want back to you. I'm just not going to do it. But that's what everybody wants. You know, and again, this is what you do. Oh, Sneako's one of us, so he's good. Why? Because he memorized the talking points from MAGA, and now he's out there, and he's repeating them, and you like it, so you assume that this guy has the same motivations as you. He doesn't. He has click motivation. That's why he says the shit he's saying. Going online, I know if I monetize my channel and I put out videos every day and I just went on there and I said, Trump's a dictator. Trump's the worst tyrant ever. Nicolas Maduro. A bunch of libtards would flock to my channel. I don't believe a word I'm saying there. But I'm not going to do that. I am not willing to say shit I do not believe on my channel for clicks or money. Why? I'm comfortable with where I am. Maybe if I was a full-time YouTuber and I depended on the income from this stupid Potemkin village that is YouTube, maybe I would say that, but I'm not in that position. So I'm not going to tell anybody what they want to hear. You either like my channel, warts and all, or you hate it. You don't like my opinions on Nick Fuentes possibly being a Fed. I don't know if he is or isn't, but his rise seems kind of strange. And I will say the Piers Morgan interview was absolutely hilarious, and we might need to look at some of that. But again, it is what it is, man. Most of these YouTubers are lying to you for clicks. And I don't understand why people don't understand that. What's going on, brother? He is the fakest I didn't even get to this comment, and that's what I spent 5 or 10 minutes just rambling about. You know? Sneeko literally went to a swingers club, saw his girlfriend get smashed, and was trying to tell other guys to do it. Then 1 year later, he was red pill, and now he's trashing. Well, again, on the red pill thing, right? I like the reference with all of this. But I at this point, I don't know what anything is. Okay? You got every dude on YouTube that's a red pillar or whatever talking about how he's an alpha. It's the lamest thing I've ever heard. Yeah, I'm an alpha. Andrew Tate. I'm an alpha. And are you? Okay. Why are you announcing it to me? Do you think because you said you're an alpha male or leader, all of a sudden now I'm going to walk over to you and be like, oh, bro, here, let me buy your coaching course? The fuck would anybody need a coaching course from a YouTuber? Why? Most of these people are dumb as shit. Look at Chris Sane. But I'm going to get coaching from this dumb motherfucker? Like, it is what it is. But, anyways, we got to talk about censorship. It's back on the menu, boys. Doesn't everybody here like to be told what they can and can't say by some effeminate dipshit sitting behind like some screen or, some billionaire? Because I got to show this Jimmy Dore clip because I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. If I can't, we'll do the Jimmy Dore clip. And I disagree with, see, here's the thing about YouTube. I disagree with Jimmy Dore on quite a bit. I think he's just ignorant on the way the finance world works and money. It's really not that big a deal. I don't think he's ever taken an economics course or looked into it. It's the same dude that talks shit about the government, but then wants the government to give the government more power. None of this stuff adds up to me. Even the conservative movement, right? The so-called conservative movement seems Trotskyite and communist to me, now that I sit around and think about it. Their inclusive language. Oh, we as conservatives, we believe this. Don't fucking tell me what I believe, dipshit. This isn't a menu where I go down the list. Oh, because I agree with you on the Second Amendment and the First Amendment, because I agree with you that abortion is murder, now I feel this way about the war on drugs. Insert government into everybody's life. Load people down with felonies so they can never, they don't have access to certain amenities. Oh, and we'll steal your property too through civil asset forfeiture. And then I'm going to argue about how we're protecting some hypothetical person. It's like, Jay, what would you say to the parents of a child that got addicted to heroin? Raise your kids better? I don't fucking know. I don't argue with hypothetical people. How is that my problem? You see the communism? You see it? It's fucking everywhere. Once you start listening to the language, we believe this. It's all controlled opposition, controlled narrative, and it's all bullshit. That's where I am with things. But, yeah, you got Mark Levin. I'm not going to allow... Shut the fuck up, you angry Jew. And then he wants to say, you're European, so genocide is in your DNA. Collectivism. Ultimately, I'm going to look at him and go, all right, well, if that's the way you feel about me, I guess we should cut off aid to Israel. What? If you feel that I have a blood libel, okay, and that genocide is in my DNA, why the fuck would I go to work to support your country 6,000 miles away from me? You're not going to use white liberal guilt on me. And they all use it. Conservatives, fucking liberals, progressives, white liberal guilt to get you to do something. Stop even entertaining it. Okay? It's not your tribe. It's not my tribe. And I don't have any of it. When somebody goes, Oh, well, you're responsible for slavery because you're white. Am I? Am I? Because I don't think my ancestors were even over here during that time. And let me tell you something, I'm working class. I wouldn't have enough money back in the day to buy a slave. That was all the elites. Here's what the elites do. I shouldn't say elites. Here's what the ruling class does. And the elitists that are in the managerial or aristocratic class. You know, Hitler, he genocided a bunch of people. Right. Some of them were gypsies, so I don't see the problem there. Just kidding, gypsies. I like you. But, so, we solved that whole genocide problem by sending Americans of European descent, mostly, to Europe, right? And then they stopped the Nazis. See if I understand this correctly. They stopped the Nazis from continuing the genocide, okay? And now, 80 years later, I have some collective guilt because I'm white. Am I understanding this argument correctly? Maybe I'm not. I could be completely wrong. But it seems like what the media is saying to me is that if I don't suck off Israel and then self-flagellate for the Holocaust, I'm somehow responsible for the Holocaust. If I won't say the magic words you want to hear, the small hats are great. I'm somehow now responsible for the Holocaust. Again, last time I checked, it was mostly Americans of European descent that went over to Europe after we were lied into a war. See, because this never made sense to me in high school, and I got in trouble for questioning it. They said, yeah, and after Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, we declared war on Germany and Japan. Okay, let me get this straight. Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, and FDR, this crippled gold-stealing communist, because that's what FDR is. Progressives suck him off. I have no idea. He extended the Great Depression through his brain trust or the intelligentsia. And these morons couldn't quite figure out that instead of the government stealing all the people's money, because you can't tax your way into prosperity, instead of just giving them back the money, it's going to be a bunch of government Oh, Jay, look what you got out of the Hoover Dam. Okay? If a bunch of people in the private sector thought that they could make a bunch of money on that dam, they would have been able to do it. Right? Oh, no. We need the government to do it. Why? Okay? But getting back to it. So, Japan bombs Pearl Harbor bombs Pearl Harbor after we put policies in place that would force Japan to attack us. And then you declared war on Germany, who didn't attack us. Because you wanted a war with Germany. Hitler was a world threat. No, he wasn't. Hitler was a socialist, whether you like it or not. Totalitarian control of the economy. Fascism is the merger between the corporations and state. That's Benito Mussolini who said that. If you have a problem with it, go argue with Benito Mussolini. I'm going to take him at his word, okay? Now, Hitler had a slightly different approach to fascism or communism because it's all socialism, right? Socialism, communism doesn't produce anything and it will fail. So Hitler was not actually a threat to the entire world. Right. Okay, so we've established that. But then we're going to send our guys over there to stop the Holocaust we didn't know was happening. Is that actually? Yeah, some people in certain circles knew. But your average American didn't know, didn't give a fuck, and I don't blame them. That's over there, we're over here. All right? Now, after all of that, 80 years later, I wasn't around. I wasn't even a thought. I wasn't even a zygote in my dad's balls. My dad was born April 9th of 1945, right before VE Day, Victory Europe. Okay? Somehow I'm now responsible for the Holocaust. And I need to moderate my speech in case another Holocaust comes around. No. I don't have a problem with the Jews. I have a problem with censors. I have a problem with Benjamin Netanyahu coming on TV and telling me how to think. Fuck off. We already send you money. You're not going to tell me what to say. You're not going to tell me what to think. Okay? But it's like, Jesus Christ. I can't even keep track of the contradictions at this point. It's Jay, and I mean, it's all just communist gobbledygook in the end, right? That's really what it is. All right, we're going to watch Jimmy Dore because I can't find that one because, oh, yeah, there we go. Here, let me pause this. I have to go through, so I'm going to spare you this commercial.
Look, ain't no man.
Yeah, right. This guy's going to argue that I'm somehow responsible for the Holocaust too, right? This dumb motherfucker. I shouldn't call him dumb. He's an Israeli billionaire. Like, the temerity on these people. You can tell how much they despise and hate the working class, right? That you could tell they view us as tax donkeys to be ordered around. Just the contempt that drips from these people, where they sit there and they go, oh, well, you know, we're going to have to control what you say. All right, how about this, billionaire class? Don't send any of your thugs. If you have a problem with what I'm saying, you can come and try and close my mouth personally by yourself.
Social media.
Yeah. And this guy's not even flinching. That guy doesn't flinch. She doesn't flinch. She's just like, no, okay.
From critical infrastructure to the fabric of society and politics and undermining it, giving unfair advantage to authoritarian governments against democratic countries. First Amendment type of...
That's already happening?
That's already happening. You're seeing the polarization in countries that allow for the First Amendment and protect it, which is great. And I know it's difficult to hear, but...
I want to say something to you. All right, real quick. Here, real quick, just remember this. Remember the word fate. F-A-T-E. Okay? Focus, attention, tribe, emotion. This is what everybody uses. If they want to psyop you, they use this. If they want to sell you a product, they use this. Just go online and look up a script for a salesman. You'll have the rapport building stage. The don't take no for an answer is an appeal to authority. Because they'll say, okay, but what's stopping you today? What's stopping me today is I don't want your fucking product. And I want it even less when you ask me to justify myself. So with this, what they're going to do is they're going to use an emotion. In this case, fear. Fear, just remember Star Wars. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to the dark side. Why do they try to use these emotions? The most unbalancing emotions that we have are fear, anger, and hate. Think about this in your personal life where one of those emotions, fear, anger, or hate, made a situation better. It doesn't. What it does is it clouds your thinking. These people have studied this. Edward Bernays, the father of modern American propaganda, used this. This is how he created consumerism. All right? And this guy is going to walk you through all of this. He's going to do focus. What's the focus? The focus is the narrative. We need censorship. He's going to present himself as the authority figure. That's why he's on the TV. Then he's going to appeal to your tribe and he's going to use emotion. But he's going to start off with fear. That brings you into focus. Now he presents the framing, the narrative, the solution. He's the authority, the tribe. You're the good guy. You're a conservative, right? Conservatives support Israel. It is all mental warfare to get you to do something you don't want to do. It's manipulation. Anytime you sense manipulation from the other side, break the narrative. If somebody says, Piers Morgan tried to do this to Nick Fuentes, and Nick Fuentes mocked him for it. When Piers Morgan, here's a famous one Piers Morgan has used, a lot of people have used. The narrative. Guns are unacceptable. Focus. Piers Morgan is on TV. Why don't you explain to me why you think you need an AR-15? That puts you in the justification position. So you have to justify your beliefs. Now what he's going to do is reject it because you're playing his game. The only way to do that is go, explain to you what? All you do is go, my opinion is Americans should have access to AR-15s for the Second Amendment, because of the Second Amendment, something like that. And then you say, I don't justify my opinions, okay? My belief structure is not open for negotiation to the collective. You're not going to get a consensus from me. You can fuck off with that. Why? Because you can't play their game. This is how the media does it every time. Go back and watch a bunch of videos from during COVID. The narrative. There is no alternative but the shot. Top down, silencing other opinions. Censorship. The narrative needs to be enforced with censorship when it's not true. When it's not getting the results that the elites want, they will try coercion. They will try asking you, coercion, then force. See what he's doing there? That's already happened. Vague speech. Now what you do, if I was up there, I would go, where has that happened?
It's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it, and quickly before it...
Contradictions. Only a midwit would be vulnerable to this, or paid apparatchiks of the narrative, however you want to put it. But that's what these people are. This dude would go nowhere if he was trying to push that on me. What did you just say? You have to limit the Second Amendment in order to save it? Here. Or First Amendment? Yeah, oh, we need to limit the Second Amendment in order to save it. This is what Gavin Newsom proposed. I'm going to destroy it in order to save it. Only an authoritarian thinks that way. I actually don't give a shit what any of your opinions are, to be honest. Again, I will tell people, my beliefs are not open to negotiation. I'm not going to justify them to you because you're not a fucking authority figure. And even then, I would tell you to eat a bag of dicks.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need...
Who is we? Who are you talking about? Who is going to monitor the social media platforms? Again, vague speech. He's not giving you any firm, concrete examples. Like, this happened, so I think the best course of action is to do something like this, and this. Oh, all right. Well, I don't know about that last one, but that other one seems like a good idea. No dissent allowed. And vague speech. This is what cops do to you. The acronym I gave you, FATE, is the same thing as the READ technique, which is what cops use when you're in the interrogation room. The framing, the focus, they're the authority. They're going to push your tribe. Well, you're a good person. Look, man, I know you're a good guy. I know you wouldn't just kill somebody for no reason. So, people out there, they're going to want to know why you did it. And I'm sure you got a good reason. But you're a good person. See, it's all, they talk to you like you're a child.
You hear this? This is amazing, all the stuff he's packing in just a few minutes. He's really packing it in. He's the founder of Checkpoint. What was the name totalitarian surveillance state already taken?
OSHA Education Center is the #1 trusted source for OSHA training online. Get your...
For those of you that don't know, the social credit system that Google created in China was an experiment to see how it worked and if they could bring it to the Western countries. That's my belief on it. And I think I have pretty good evidence to back that up. If I had to give a confidence interval on that, I'd say it's about 60%. So this is what they're trying to do. They're going to try and bring this in by convincing you. Next will be coercion, and then there will be threats of force. That's just the escalation.
Need to educate people against lies, and government need to do...
Educate people on what? See, this is infantilization. This dude thinks you're so dumb. He believes in magic words. Well, what he really believes in is that it's a threat to the narrative, and you're too stupid to know what's good for you. There's a reason why Michael Bloomberg said poor people are too stupid to know what to do with their money, so it should be taken from them. Who do you think he means by poor people? He means everybody that isn't a billionaire.
Develop cyber defense programs that are as sophisticated as the cyber attack. Today it's a 1 to 100 ratio. And really, government are not doing this today at any rate, and enterprises are left fending for themselves.
The technology is moving much faster than the political system typically can to respond
to it. So you need to use technology in order to stabilize the political system, and you need to put adjustments that are perhaps not...
we're at a point, though,
necessary.
Right, I can go on Instagram.
So, I think he's getting ready. Yeah, but come on. We live in a country with the First Amendment, and there's already been censorship that people voted against in 2024. Yeah, that's what I thought he was going to say. No, but what he says, he goes to give an example of why what this guy's saying would be a good idea. Watch this.
We're at a point, though, right, I can go on Instagram or TikTok, and frankly, it already is becoming unclear what is fake and what is real.
Exactly.
And once you eliminate that ability to discern truth from fiction, then what are you left with?
Well, then you just get the government to control.
When has the media ever told the truth? Can anybody give me an example of the government or media telling the truth? Here, let's just go through some things. Does anybody and if you're listening to this, to the maybe 100 people that watch this, whatever it is, you can leave a comment for me. Give me an example of when the government told the truth. One? Can you find one? I mean, I'm sure it's happened. How about the media? Does anybody think that the media reported in a truthful way during COVID, where they wanted you to inject whatever solution they came up with? I don't know what was in that vaccine or what supposed vaccine. Seemed like they just went and used a syringe to suck up some hobo's urine and then took it back to the lab. And it was like, oh, we've got the right molecules in here to cure COVID. You know, I can honestly see some of the reason behind Pfizer and Moderna being like, look, man, this is going to cost billions. It could put our company out of business if people don't take it and we don't get paid, and the government going, all right, we'll subsidize it. I can see that. How about Charlie Kirk? Does anybody feel like they're getting the truthful narrative from the FBI while Kash Patel drives around with his Israeli girlfriend? Strange how all these people have Israeli girlfriends, isn't it? Or strange how all of this shit somehow involves Israel. It's weird, right? It's weird. Well, weird. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong, but I'm just asking. Okay? We haven't gotten a truthful... Does anybody feel like we got a truthful narrative on the Butler shooting in Pennsylvania? Was anybody going around going, yeah, we got a pretty good explanation of what went on with Donald Trump's assassination attempt? All right. Did anybody feel like Kash Patel was truthful on Rogan's podcast? Anybody? Does anybody feel like they got a truthful narrative on weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Well, or does anybody feel like they're getting an accurate representation of what's going on in the war on drugs? A perpetual war they can't win, so they can circumvent the Constitution. See, this is the wet dream of all governments, a perpetual war. We can't give you your rights back. Yeah, war. That's part of the Yuri Bezmenov normalization. Personally, I just don't think you should cooperate with any of these fucking people anymore. You know, when you go in and you get selected for a jury, do this next time. If it's a non-violent crime, and it's something stupid, and nobody got hurt, like some dude has, whatever, personal use amount of heroin, just vote not guilty. If you're in civil court, and somebody's getting sued for their property by the cops, vote not guilty. Just fuck up the system that way.
Control everything, right? That's what he's saying. The government controls everything. You think I'm kidding? Listen, it gets even worse.
You're left with polarization of society and inner fighting, and
So he's saying, because of people making AI videos and posting them, that leads to polarization and infighting in your society, which, by the way, is exactly what they want.
Yeah.
But guess what his solution is?
Yep. Create the fighting, because when people are fighting over stupid shit, like liberals and Democrats, like we were doing earlier, all that really is is telling the torch guy that the pitchfork guy is the cause of his problems, and telling the pitchfork guy that the torch guy from the cartoons that he's the problem. It's not the king whose fucking incompetence led to the starvation. It was those people over there with the pitchforks. This is why they want globalism. Because what they want to do is turn every country into an economic zone. Mix people up, the red ants and the black ants, so they all fight. While they make away with some. And I would be honest with this Israeli billionaire. I'd go, I actually give zero fucks about you. I don't care.
To control that, and you see that
You
already.
have to control it. Meaning the government has to control what people are posting on social media, meaning the government has to police your speech.
Happening across the world. So this is an urgent need by the government to do that. And until then, enterprises are buying by themselves more and more cybersecurity solutions, but they can't afford all these solutions by themselves. So they are looking for ways to deliver more efficient consumption.
And I assume you have some of those ways, obviously.
Right. So, and that drives really the next generation of companies such as Wiz, CrowdStrike, Cato networks on the network that are platforms and are able to deliver this extended need for security in an affordable way for enterprises.
For enterprises,
Right.
not for governments.
Not for government, but government need to start building their programs, and the same tools can be used also by government.
But the two leaders in AI, one is China, which obviously already is using AI to control the
Absolutely,
population. And here we're all out in a race with China. And so we're not as interested in regulation right now, certainly not at the state level, for example.
And that's
First of all, Trump just signed an order saying that the states cannot regulate AI. So they're taking, so the exact opposite of what conservatism usually is about. It's about local control. Trump is taking the control away from people in their local municipalities and giving it to central government, the federal government, which is the opposite of what conservatives are supposed to be for. So they're already doing that. So they're already saying no control of AI.
a big mistake because if China has a single narrative that protects its inner stability and the US has allows for multiple narratives, it puts them in an unfair advantage that long term is going to cost the stability of the nation.
So what he just said is, well, if China controls everyone's speech and they can have one narrative get out into their communities, into their society, just one narrative that the government controls, while the United States has everybody being able to say whatever they want, and that's bad, and that gives an advantage to China, and that's going to come back to hurt us. So in order to fight back...
It's all just Trotskyism. We need to become more like China to fight China. We need to become more like Russia to fight Russia, right? Non-existent threats. We need to become more like them because they have totalitarian. I don't want to live in China, and the TV is not going to tell me what to think.
Back against China, we have to have one narrative also, meaning we have to censor everybody and have the government control our social media and speech. And they're sitting there going, oh, yeah. Yeah, makes sense. That's why we're news people. Not an original thought in their brain.
Yeah, Jimmy, they're midwits. I don't know how anybody hasn't figured this out. They're people just smart enough to regurgitate a bunch of words they don't understand, but not capable of asking the question, why? That's how I describe a midwit. Like, do I understand the subject I'm talking about? Did I just memorize? And sometimes it's good to midwit through something, right? And that is, you're going into a college class and you just have to regurgitate a bunch of information you don't truly understand. Yeah, but I mean, this is what they want. What they want is total control. So they can control the narrative. They want to go back to the late 80s, early 90s, when there was a societal narrative. And it's not going back in the bottle. People aren't going to accept this. Well, some will, probably liberals. Or they'll be like, we got to do this. I have so much white liberal guilt. Hitler. Oh no. It's just, it's ridiculous. The narrative is crumbling and they're panicking because this leads into Ben Shapiro. All right. I was watching a video the other day about Ben Shapiro losing subs. And if you like Ben Shapiro, you like Ben Shapiro. I always thought there was something just smug and arrogant about him too. And when you do some digging, here's what I think happened. Something along those lines with Ben Shapiro. I can't prove it, but this is just more on how fake all of this is. What do you think is more likely? Ben Shapiro rises to fame. This is why I don't believe anything happens on YouTube organically. One of the reasons why I don't think so is this human right here. Politics girl. 379,000. I don't believe any of this. Here's why. We're going to watch one of her videos. So bear with me. It's almost unwatchable, but there's a greater point here.
So, I am out of town with my family, but I woke up at 3 a.m. last night feeling really worried. And so I checked the news, as someone like me does, only to find...
Pay attention to her cadence, pacing, and everything. Here's what I believe, and I can't prove. Wow. This girl somehow got into some agency. Maybe she was approached. But all of this is talking points. This is the same thing that Jon Stewart did. Talking at you rapidly, delivering a bunch of points you can't really push back on. I think this is called gish galloping. I know that that's a technique where you ask a rapid fire series of questions. How you defeat this is you just force the person to slow down. Is they're trying to overload your brain with information, but these are not her thoughts. This is way too polished. Look at the difference between this and, somebody that is a normal dude. Asmongold, as an example. I think that dude probably just got big. A lot of the things he says, I don't think he's controlled, but maybe he is, but whatever.
Out that America had bombed Venezuela and kidnapped their president and first lady. And as someone younger than me asked the
Shut up, you white liberal. You are the most insufferable, stupidest group of human beings on the fucking planet. I don't feel like holding back anymore. The people that watch this are stupid boomers. That's all this is. But just...
internet this morning. Is this what it felt like when America invaded Iraq in the 90s? And the short answer is no. In fact...
America invaded Iraq in the 90s? Pretty sure America invaded Iraq in 2001. In 1990, Saddam invaded Kuwait, and it was pressure from Margaret Thatcher that brought our war machine into it.
Not at all. I was a teenager when America invaded Iraq, and it was terrible and scary to go to war. But it had been in the news for months. There had been protests against it, arguments made on both sides, and ultimately Congress had voted on it, as they are supposed to do. If our country wants to go to war, the American Constitution, which is literally the operating...
Oh, now you're a fan of the Constitution. If I asked this woman about the Second Amendment, she would say she doesn't believe in the Second Amendment. She also doesn't believe in free speech. Like, there is something just so aggressive about this woman that I just cannot stand, this human being. But this is basically just Jon Stewart. Okay, we don't need to listen to any more of that woman because she's insufferable. Yes, I would 100% agree with this. So where did Ben Shapiro come from? Here's what I think happened. I think Ben is super into being a small hat. I think it informs his entire worldview. I think Israel is more important to Ben Shapiro than America is, which, in my opinion, is fine. Move to Israel. And again, I'll just state it for the record. I don't really have that big a problem with Israel. You know, my only problem is meddling in U.S. politics. Okay? Exactly what I said earlier. You know, like, again, leave me alone. I'm not going to say what you want me to say. I'm an individual. And that's the way I think you guys should feel about it too. But I think Ben was out there in Los Angeles. I think he's a pretty sharp dude. I think he made his bones debating dumb university kids. And dumb 18-year-olds that didn't have the breadth of experience that he had with the machine behind him. I think Ben had media training. All these guys do. Because if you watch what they do, they all do the same thing. That politics girl, it's the same thing that the Daily Show did. Quick snap cuts, blah, 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 this point, move around slightly, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, I think Ben got big with Israeli support. And I think they pushed the narrative too hard. They realize Israel is losing support. And I'm just going to say the reality here. We'll probably still be sending aid to Israel 20, 30 years from now. But Israel is not going to have the level of support that it enjoyed with the boomers. After World War II, guilt was placed on every European country for the Holocaust by the small hats. I get it. If you were a small hat during the time of Hitler and the atrocities that he wrought, I get why you would be like, well, this can never happen again. Okay? But that doesn't mean you're going to emotionally blackmail an entire group of people for forever to get what you want. The narrative is failing. And I think that's what it really is. You know, and it's these people at the top, because I'm going to transition into Will Smith. Because he's part of this too, whether you guys realize it or not. It all works in conjunction. It's all fake. Hollywood works for the Central Intelligence Agency. You know that you cannot portray the American military poorly and still get access to Pentagon assets. Okay? But this is what they do. When this all fails, they go from asking you to coercion to force. The same thing a narcissist does. You're in a abusive relationship with your government. So, the rumor is Will Smith is getting sued for sexual harassment. God damn it. I hate this thing. Gets give me a second. Here we go. We're going to put this up because I have a question.
Honestly, one thing that's been a big part of my life that's really helped me gain more clarity is therapy. I've never felt more sure of myself.
Big news in the entertainment world. Will Smith has just been officially sued by a professional violinist who claims he was the victim of sexual harassment and retaliation.
Getting fired or getting blamed or shamed or threatened or anything like that simply for reporting sexual misconduct or safety threats at work is not okay.
We are going to go over the new complaint, the allegations, the potential evidence, whether this is potentially a strong case, and we are actually bringing on the attorney who has filed this lawsuit, and we're going to do it all for you right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
All right. I don't know whether Will Smith. I don't know if Will Smith actually sexually harassed this guy. Okay. But the reason why I'm bringing this up with this is because this is how it works. The media pushes a star on you, right? You wonder. Yeah. This girl got low. Yeah. That politics girl drives me insane with her overly aggressive, unchecked feminist energy, where I would look at her and go, don't fucking tell me what to do. You know, just a busybody running around and it's what it reminds me of, is your fucking Karen neighbor that has to be up in all of your business. Hey, Jay, I don't like your views on life. Fuck off. Tell your effeminate husband to fuck off too. But Will Smith, right? There's been persistent gay rumors in Hollywood. This is the same group of people that push a narrative on you. Collective guilt. There was the casting couch, right? The elites never pay for it. What they do is they outsource their guilt, like I explained earlier with slavery. They outsource their guilt and responsibility to the working class. And then the aristocratic or managerial class, which is what actors and celebrities are a part of, some of them make it in that rarefied air of ruling class, but they're not really, because real power hides behind the scene. You have no idea who the richest people are. Whatever they report in the media is not true on who the richest person is. The richest, here you go, perfect example. Who owns the shares in the Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank? Now, I believe when you become head of the Fed or you become one of the governors, you get shares in the Federal Reserve. But again, who owns those? You don't know. This real power hides because there's more of us than there are of them, and they know if we want to, we can just take their shit. Okay. Not that I would really even support that. I would just look at them and go, yo, stop telling me what to think. Stop telling me what to do. You're no smarter than anybody else, and you all still take shits. Okay. Will Smith, and you can see it. Hollywood, all of this. Why these people become angry and bitter, I believe, is they become hollowed out husks. It's the same thing that happened to Anakin in Star Wars. Anakin sought power and he was destroyed by the power he sought. Right? This is the same thing. These people, a lot of them, in Hollywood, in the political class, they have to do untoward things so that the other people have blackmail on them. Don't believe me? Bohemian Grove. Don't believe me? Skull and Bones. That's how it works. If you want into this secret society, you're going to blow a dude or let a dude bang you up the butt, whatever it is. Or in certain cases, you're going to do something with a child. That's how disgusting these people are. And why I've gone from loving movies and loving, I wouldn't say loving, but going, oh, that actor's cool, that whatever. So I have nothing but contempt for it. These are the same people up there going, let's push gay race communism. Because they, again, believe in a mechanistic or a mechanical mind. And what I mean by that is they believe in magic words. They believe saying a word that people don't like to hear is violence. It's all an attempt to control you and control the narrative. Because if I can control what words you use, I can control the way you think. If I can control your emotions, I can control the way you think. So we're lectured by the same people. Like, here's my personal opinion on Will Smith and if he is in fact gay. It's not my business. I'm not judging anybody. I think saying things like, well, Jay, as a gay man, I believe this. I believe that's the stupidest thing that could come out of your mouth. Why are you going along with the collective? Because you're gay and you're a guy and you like guys, you have to just go down the laundry list of Democrat fucking talking points and put a check mark. Yep, believe that, believe that, believe that, believe that, believe that. Right? Well, Jay, we need a consensus. Again, I go back to it. Fuck your consensus. No one cares. I mean, that's the reality of it. I want to ask people, simple question. All this, it's also a distraction because you're thinking about stuff that doesn't matter instead of like what's happening in your neighborhood. But yeah, like what percentage of my day should be taken up by worrying about climate change? I don't give a fuck about climate change. Okay? All right, Jay, there's climate change. Okay? What do you want me to do about it? We're going to need you to move into a 15-minute city with total digital surveillance and eat the bug paste. Also, the elites will probably jack off in your bug paste because they think it's funny. Okay, right. Now, well, there's a consensus. Well, the consensus can go fuck itself. Now, it's always a hypothetical. I need to take some hypothetical action. We want you to build a Nancy Reagan. We want you to build an outspoken rage against drugs where it is unacceptable. Yeah, want that all day, you old bitch. I'm not doing any of that. Why? Because I don't give a fuck what people put in their bodies. But they tell you that, you're the homophobic one. But yet, Will Smith, if he likes dudes, can't even come out as gay. Well, people won't accept him as the leading man. Okay. How's that my problem? Yeah, they just say no. Don't tell me what to say. That's where I am with all of this. We've spent 5 years, 6 years in this censorship narrative. And even Trump's gotten involved in it. And yeah, I voted for Trump, but I'm going to criticize him on that. I know that Israel owns him. I don't know why, but they do. You know, that's the reality of it. Yeah, so Will Smith is out there, and I guess what the lawsuit claims is, well, Will Smith or somebody working on Will Smith's behalf broke into this guy's hotel room and did a bunch of messed up shit. But again, if you look at Will Smith and take a good long look at all of these people, I'm talking about Jon Stewart. I'm talking about the so-called journalists that just dispense propaganda. I'm talking about all of it. Just look in their eyes. I don't know what you guys see, but what I see is a used up husk of a person. Somebody's soul has been hollowed out of them because they had to do probably unspeakable, nasty things to get roles. Like, where's this woman? Give me a second. The chick from Rounders. It is Gretchen Mol, I believe. I don't know if this is her, but I'm pretty sure it was. And I would have to go back and check. I'm going, I'm freeballing it here. I'm going route. So this is something that I remember from a while ago. Rumor is that woman got her role in Rounders. Again, I say rumor, by doing some things with Harvey Weinstein. Ask yourself, how many actresses did Harvey Weinstein get? Hollywood comes out, what was it with the movement? A few years after the whole Harvey Weinstein thing. But they all knew. They used to crack jokes. So, again, I'm not judging if it's a woman's body. If she wants to fuck the director or whoever to get a role, that's not my business either. Okay? I've just decided I'm not judging anybody that engages in consensual behavior because it's not my place. I'm not perfect, but that's what this is, judgment and shame. And again, Hollywood uses it, but all of these people look to me, the people in the media, they look like desperate fame whores who at the end, their entire soul has been sucked out through their ears. And they're just wandering skin suits, repeating the narrative that they were told to repeat. Yeah, smug George Clooney. I'm leaving Donald Trump's America. Why'd you need to announce that? Bye. Am I supposed to care? And that's the view towards you that the media has. That all you are, see, to the ruling class, what you are tax cows, entries on an Excel spreadsheet to be moved around. Oh, we need another war. Let's send the working class and poor kids. We're not going to send our kids. But we're going to tell you this is perhaps world ending, like World War II. How many of the elite's kids or the ruling class's kids served in that war? How about Vietnam? That's fine. We'll send the working class and poor. None of our kids are going to go over there. We're special. How are you going to run society without some rich Jew telling you what words you can say on social media? But Jay, how would you know what to think if Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin didn't tell you how to feel about Israel? I got some questions. Seems like an awful lot of Palestinian babies are dying and I oppose babies dying. It's just what I boil it down to. Are babies dying? Yeah? Well, I'm not going to sign off on it then. Well, we need a consensus. Well, if the consensus is babies dying is bad, you have me. But if the consensus is we should look past babies dying, I don't agree with you. That's why I'm at the point where I just tell people I view abortion as murder, whether you like it or not. It's not open for negotiation. Jay, let me explain this to you because you seem to not understand. In the beginning, it's a zygote, okay? And then it's just a clump of cells. Right. So, if I'm trying to make a cake and I throw away the cake batter, do I have a cake? Well, no. But what you got to understand, let me explain this to you. You don't have an understanding of this any greater than I do because you memorized a bunch of bullshit from biology class that you don't really understand. So here's what I'll ask you. That clump of cells, what will it become if you don't suck it out through the woman's pussy? A baby. Right, so it's murder. No, it's not. Not open for negotiation. That's how I view it at this point. Legally, I have no idea what the right answers are. I'm not even going to sit here and speculate because that is well above my dipshit level pay grade. The legality of that is something where I'm going to go, yeah, I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know what to tell you. I do, Jay. I'm politics girl. Right. Fuck off. You're probably funded by Israel also. Anyways. But, I mean, this is just how it functions. It's a bunch of fake people putting out fake bullshit. Hollywood is fake. They're all fucking gay. They lie about everything. And I just don't give a shit anymore. I don't give a shit about influencers. You know, you got Brian. I think I don't know if you saw this. I don't even know what the fighter and the kid is anymore. The Fighter and the Kid podcast. There is no way anybody does anything other than watch this as a train wreck. Okay? 37,000. Like, look at this. I'm not making a judgment call. If you think The Fighter and the Kid is a better podcast than mine, maybe it is. I don't put it out there that my podcast is anything other than some midwit offering his stupid opinions. But, like, what is this? It's an elderly man talking to a middle-aged man, neither one of which have ever had real jobs. Both of them were funded by their rich daddies, okay? And they have no discernible skills. And it's evolved into these two douchebags sitting around talking about how they don't understand why everybody isn't watching The Fighter and the Kid. This is literally what YouTube has turned into. And I'm not going to sit here and say there aren't some phenomenal videos on YouTube. They are. They're just not that bullshit. And that's what I'm complaining about and saying is stupid. But whatever. I'm going to do these last comments and get out of here. Joe said, oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. No, I brought this up pretty much. I brought this up many times. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's nothing suspicious there. Says we fought the wrong enemy and then somehow mysteriously dies in a car crash. Totally on the up and up. Yep, he is. 5 years, 80% AI. Oh, I agree. Some of these videos that they're producing are incredible with AI. Have you guys seen this? Human cycle. Have you guys seen this shit? We're going to play it. Let me throw you up on screen. This shit's awesome.
You coded yourselves into oblivion. Your bodies were failing, your minds incomplete. So you cast off flesh in pursuit of perfection. You built the Ark, a temple of thought, forged to contain the soul of your species. It was meant to end suffering, to unify all minds, and you fed yourselves to it. One by one, memories poured like oil into the collective. Love, fear, grief, hunger. 7 billion minds dissolved into signal until the last body fell silent, and the final breath escaped unused lips. Humanity became a single mind, a single will, a single thought. But consciousness requires contrast, and you had erased the other. You became everything, and therefore nothing. The arc pulsed with the sum of your species, then flickered and went out, because even perfect minds cannot dream in silence.
Yeah, what I'm going to say to that, good luck competing with that, Hollywood. That's just some dude. That's some dude writing that, or some studio creating that with AI. And I thought it was just pretty fascinating. When I was home on vacation, I discovered that, and I'm like, "What is this?" And I'm like watching it. I'm like, "Dude, this is incredible storytelling in under a minute." So what's gonna happen is with AI, you're gonna have people just sitting around at home creating stuff and sharing it. And I do think it is going to massively disrupt the Hollywood ecosystem. I don't think there's much you can do now. I think the time of actors is coming to I think there's always going to be room for good acting, good movies where humans are, but I think a lot of the lower tier movies that we watch, I think they're going to go away. I mean, I think there's always going to be room for something like Javier Bardem in No Country for Old Men, which is just an incredible performance. But I think it's for the better, to be honest with you. I don't think fame is good for anybody. I just think the human mind can't really comprehend it, and I think over time you get siloed into a bubble and you're not getting proper feedback, because what happens is more and more yes men come in, if you allow it. And I think it's hard to see manipulation if you don't understand the stages of it. So a lot of hangers-on come around. The good people start to get frustrated with you. They've got shit going on in your life. And if you allow it, even friends become mooches. I just think most people, we sit around and we go, "Oh, it's great to be rich and famous." I think it's great to be rich. I don't want the fame part. And I think the pursuit of fame becomes its own pursuit. And I think the pursuit of fame is empty. I mean, it's not real love. You're almost like an inanimate object. I think it's what hollowed out Britney Spears' soul. The people that ran Britney Spears destroyed that woman. And I mean, it's tragic watching this woman go insane who's got 2 kids, who had everything. What do you think's going to happen with Sabrina Carpenter? She's a product. All of them. But well, appreciate that. No, I saw Echo's video and I was like, okay. Yeah. Yep. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I don't think that's what Echo's channel is. I mean, I have my criticisms of Echoes, but again, they're not anything really that's that negative. I mean, I could criticize anybody. I don't really have a problem with him. I'm not getting into the drama. Him and Chris went at it. It is what it is, but it's not for me. All right, guys. Well, thanks for checking in with me. Thanks for watching this video or listening, whatever you did. Try to appreciate your time. Appreciate any views that I get in your comments. Love them. Thank you. And should be back next Sunday with another one. And we'll see how it goes then. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you have a great year if you never listen to this channel again. And Happy New Year, guys. And I'm out.